Chookas! Hello, I'm James.
Hello, I'm Neil. Welcome to our Chookas Podcast, Podcast 10.
Podcast 10, really?
Yeah. Yep. Oh, I might be lying. It might be 10.
Oh, great. Well,
Sure.
let's call it 10.
Let's call it 10.
And we have the wonderful Zoran with us.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, welcome. You're
Thank you.
you're an actor,
Yes, I am.
and you're currently about to open a play called Tom at the Farm.
That's right, yeah.
And where is that?
That is playing at the KXT. It's, I think, going to be their last show in that space before they move to their new location in Broadway.
Amazing. The last production that they're going to have at the King's Cross Hotel.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that...
Wait, what? King's Cross Hotel Theatre's moving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know. Sorry, I did not know.
Yeah. They're moving closer to Broadway.
That's right,
Right across from kind of say like the Broadway shopping center.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so. I don't know exactly where the location is, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Broadway.
Yeah, I've looked it up. It's kind of like right on that corner, kind of where the Uni Lodge area is.
Yeah.
I haven't been, but I've seen the. You're just shocked.
What?
No, but I should have known about that. But so both levels, because there's two levels to a KXT, isn't it? It was one of...
I know that there's the one at the top,
Yeah.
but I don't know if the one below is necessarily KXT. I thought that was just up for grabs for anybody who wanted to hire it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. I know that there's like that main theater space, and then there's another room that I've seen one show in that room before, but I don't think it's used very often. But yeah.
So it's not going to be called KXT anymore?
I don't know.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. Yeah,
Because I know that
I'll look it up.
because right, it's like Bakehouse Theatre Company.
Yes.
Yeah,
that resides in KXT.
That's right. Yeah.
But I haven't heard of a new name for the new venue.
No, me neither.
So
Yeah.
it could be. I don't know. They keep on calling it like KXT.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
I think it's probably going to stay the same.
maybe
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to have KXT at Broadway, or maybe that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we saw the lunch with Bernays
Bernays,
at that below kind of cabaret-ish space.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. Maybe they present there, or I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
We're going to a little rabbit hole. That's good. If you don't know, then that means that other people won't.
That's not a
know
good
either.
thing. Because
No,
this
it doesn't.
podcast is about, so we should know.
Yeah, I know we should know, but it's fine. We don't have to pretend we know
sorry,
everything.
everyone.
Yeah.
No. Don't apologize.
okay.
Because if you don't know, what I'm saying is if you don't know, then other people probably don't know either.
Right.
Right? So it's kind of cool to like be on the ground floor of be like, we don't know. Like we
Exactly,
literally
yeah.
don't know. So it's like, let's find out or whatever, you know?
Sure.
But coming back to Tom at the Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about what is the play?
So the play is it's a sort of, well, I'll tell you what the story sort of follows.
Sure. No spoilers though.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Because I feel there's a bunch of spoilers. There's a bunch of turns and twists in it.
Yes, there definitely are. But basically the premise of the story is Tom has just lost his partner, and Tom is they're gay, and he's lost his partner, and he goes to his partner's home where he grew up, which is on a farm, and he sort of meets his mum and his brother, and the world that Tom thought he built with Will sort of comes kind of crashing down a little bit, and he finds things out that he didn't know about, and it gets really dark and heavy, but with that of course as with any like sort of great tragedy comes a lot of humor as well, you know. But yeah, it's a sort of like, I would almost say like a horror.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of like like violence and just like darkness and but it is funny.
And what do we like if you wanted to, if there was something like me and I was like, I don't know much about the play, like what do you want people to kind of walk away with from the play?
I think a big part of the play is this discussion around, I guess, violence against the queer community. I mean, that's a very broad sort of look at what the play is about. But for me, that was an important aspect to explore because I'm a queer man. So it's just a sort of looks at the way that queer people have to hide, and also the sort of unreported violence that's still quite prevalent even in today's times, and especially at the time that the play was written, which was I think 2013 or something like that. So I think it just looks at, and also like it's about lying and like creating this false world for yourself to be able to deal with the horrible stuff that can come with being yourself, under quotation marks, like to protect yourself, kind of thing.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I know what you're getting at.
So
almost like through the manipulation, you're manipulating yourself for like finding normality in yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Sort of like pushing down things to live a quote unquote normal life kind of thing. Yeah, something that's like bearable and
or at least be accepted by other people into having a normal life. Which is a kind of violence on oneself, isn't it?
Oh, for sure, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. And is this sort of like this is an original player from? It's American.
It's a French Canadian playwright. Michel Marc Bouchard. It was a play that was written in 2013, and it was then translated. We're doing the translation by Linda Gabriel. So it's set in Canada, like rural Ontario. We have Canadian accents, which has been really fun to do. But I mean, it's, even though it's set in this, I actually had someone that watched a preview, and they stopped in, they were like talking about the show, and he asked me, why was the play set in Canada? And I think what he was getting at is that it's a very universal thing that we're sort of discussing in the play.
Right.
So I think even though it's set in that setting, I think the themes and the things that are explored are very universal and can sort of people sort of get and hopefully be moved by, or like will make them think, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How'd you guys go about the Canadian? Because we were always trying to do American accents, and then how did you differentiate? Like, I know you can't, but like actually doing the work of it, how did you go about doing that?
Well, we had Linda Nichols Gidley. She helped us a lot with the accent, and when we first started, it's a lot of information. Like the differences are very what's the word? Like the difference is like it's very nuanced, like it's small nuances that Canadian accent has. So yeah, Linda like basically walked us through all of that. She gave us a lot of reference videos and people we should listen to for our particular accent, because we've got two characters are from rural Canada, and then we've got two other characters that are from the city. And yeah, I mean, like there's the obvious, the about and the, sorry, but there's a lot of like other little ones that are very detailed that they sort of had to pay attention to as well. But yeah, I mean, we had the basis of the American accent, which is a good starting off point, but then it does become a little bit more different when you like look into it quite deeply. Yeah.
I feel like because we always talk when acting about gestures and physicality and whatnot. I feel like the Canadian people, their physicality and gestures are quite close to us. But I feel like they're like Australians, but except with American tinge to it. Like I that's what I feel. But anyway, like,
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Yeah. But I like for my character in particular, like.
Sorry, who is your character? Who do you
I'm
play?
Tom. I'm playing Tom. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. He's a very particular person. He works in an ad agency, and he's like what me and our great director Danny Danny Ball, we sort of discussed that he comes from a wealthier background, and so I think like when looking at his physicality or the way he speaks, even though I get what you're saying about like Canadians and Australians do have like quite a similar vibe, I think I also had to think about, okay, what's the world he's coming from, and how would that have shaped him in the way he like moves or speaks, so
Right. Yeah. So like, I just want to carry on with that. It's also like character building. What were you doing that got to that place?
So it was a lot of like collaborating with Danny. He's amazing with the insight that he has. He knows the play really well, and a lot of the play was, I mean, for me, it was just like figuring out exactly what is going on, because a lot of it, when you first read it, you're like, oh, it's a bit unclear what I'm actually trying to do as Tom. But so it was a lot of like unpacking the actual meaning of what I'm saying. And then when it came to character, just the sort of like regular stuff I did, like the backstory and the I sort of like created a little playlist, like just the regular stuff. But also it was important because the play's so focused on the grief because of this big tragedy, and it should be there the whole time. I think when I initially went into it, I just saw it for the grief, and I when talking with Danny, we sort of tried to find Tom outside of this whole situation. Who was he before this? And he's not just this thing that happened to him. He's all these other things, and he's not just a sad boy, he's funny. He's also a little bit entitled maybe, or, just finding all these different aspects. But yeah, it was a lot of just collaboration with the director. Yeah.
I want to ask you about, so what's your background? Serbian.
Yeah.
And how has that impacted you in the past, whatever years you've been how long have you been acting for? How long have you been in the industry for?
It's been, so I finished drama school.
I shouldn't ask that question. I shouldn't say industry. I said, how long have you been a creative for?
Well, I finished drama school in 2014. So from then on, it was a little bit on and off. Like I really struggled to sort of find my feet. And being Serbian, I think initially it just sort of, the roles that I was going for were very specific. But that was before this whole movement of the sort of authenticity that, you should be this nationality if you're playing this character. So I was going for a lot of like Middle Eastern characters or, stuff like that. And, but now since I've become more comfortable with my culture, and also with my queerness, and just like all these other aspects of myself, I think it's opened up my the opportunities, opened up what I'm presented and what I'm going for, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just like also zeroing in on the things that I want to kind of say. Like I'm still not 100% clear on exactly everything I want to say, but I'm just moving towards wanting to be a part of projects that are meaningful to me, that are going to be fulfilling, Yeah.
And did you grow up? Were you born here?
No, I was born in Serbia. I came here when I was about 12.
Oh, you're quite old when you came.
Yeah, I had an accent. I was like, hello, everybody.
This question. Do you find it hard to do your Serbian accent if you were on or do you find it quite easy to do it?
Serbian accent?
Yeah.
It's...
Like for like role, like, hey, you got to do a Serbian accent. Do a Serbian accent.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really know what it sounds like. You know what I mean? Like, because...
Right.
Yeah, I just sort of do like a general Eastern European sort of like accent and hope that... But no, I mean, like, I've not been asked to really do a Serbian accent before.
Right, okay.
But when I do like put it on, I'm like, I don't really know if I'm doing this right. But yeah, it's because I don't know, it's weird. Like my mum still has an accent, so I should know what that sounds like.
Sounds
but
like
yeah. I just have like a general idea of it, but yeah.
I was just talking because like my partner, she, her and I both like I went for an audition like a few months back, and then the auditioner asked me to do an Indian accent.
Oh wow!
Can you do an Indian accent? And I'm like,
The pressure.
the pressure, like
Yeah.
like because sometimes you're in like a space where you go, oh, if I go too far, it might be a mockery. If I go the other way, it might be like I'm not be authentic, And then if I do right, I'm like it's hard to find that because like I have a very much an Australian accent, right? And then if I put an Indian accent on top of it, it sounds like a mockery at times. Because I mean that's what I grew up with, like
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do I find that?
Yeah, I know exactly what I mean. There's a lot of accents like that I'm like when we did Breathless, yeah.
So we were working on Breathless together.
A play reading.
Yeah, what is Breathless? Tell us.
It was a
about
play reading about like the like little snippets of like Anzac warriors, Anzac veterans, like
veterans
yeah.
and folks who were fighting against the war and people finding themselves whether they wanted to go to the war. There's one character. Was it your character? No. One of the characters who just came back from Vietnam and was confronted with a guy who was against the war, but he had no idea what it actually feels like to be in a war. But he was saying that peace and whatnot, and but there's a lot of things. But basically, about veterans, real veteran stories, actually.
Yeah, and it was like how basically the war has affected their lives and onwards. Yeah, but I had to do a French accent for that one. And I remember thinking the same thing. I was like, I can do like this, but it's like finding that balance where you're like, I don't know if like, am I going too far or but I feel like there's a lot of accents like that you're like, I don't know if I'm just like actually doing an authentic accent or if this is like pushing it kind of thing. Yeah.
Because I thought your French accent was quite good.
Oh, thank you.
But like, do you have and you obviously you had that French accent a bit when you're talking about the playwright or whatever. Mm-hmm. Did you study French or? I
did study French in high school, and I really wanted to like continue it, but it's because no one chose it in like year 12 or something, and and I just never continued on. I mean, I got Duolingo and started like doing it there, but it's just not like a sustainable way of learning it. But there's actually a lot of French in this play, which I think like doing Breathless sort of like gave me the confidence a bit to just be like, okay, I can speak French, So but no, I do want to. That's the one language that I really, really want to know. Maybe one day,
And do you have like when did I guess you came to Australia when you were 12? When did you know that you wanted to pursue acting?
I mean, I've always had an inkling that I loved performance, but I guess it was like high school when we actually got the opportunity to like workshop things and like put ourselves out there. I had like two amazing drama teachers. One of them actually came to the show the other night. It was so sweet.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was just so lovely and so she sort of like sparked that initial desire. And then I had another teacher in year 12 who was like, he was actually an actor, and he had done productions and stuff. So he like gave us a lot of like new insight on like how we can stage things and blah, blah, you know. So I think it started off from there, and then it was like, let's just go for it. Because I was thinking of going into teaching initially, to teach drama in English, but I was like, why not give it a go? Because I wasn't doing it. Like, I respect teaching so much, but I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. So I was like, okay, let's try this acting thing and then go from there. Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts or opinions on teachers and the way they're being treated here in Australia? Or do you have any insight into?
I don't really. I know I have a friend who's a teacher, and she says she doesn't get paid enough for what she has to do, and she's very like on top of everything. And I know she's like amazing at her job, but it's just not. There's not enough respect for that profession. I mean, and one way to show respect is give them more money.
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
You know, it's a hard job. I think what also like stopped me from going there as well, because I just wouldn't be able to handle like all these young people like, you know, talking back and blah, blah. So it's like it would be a lot of stress, and you know, but yeah, so I think they should be paid more. And that's as far as I know. But I'm not sure.
But teaching has changed in like last 10, 15 years. You know, like there's so much regulations now with paperwork and whatnot. So it's almost become, it's gone from being like actual, because back in the day when we were growing up, I guess, you know, like we had relationships with our teachers, like they would mentor us and they teach us some basics of life and whatnot, you know, and now it's a bit different now. They're more like caretakers, and they just got to do paperwork, and it's so much paperwork. Like they work till Sundays, you know, like, and it's insane amount of paperwork, and that's why they're not getting paid enough. If you're going to put all those regulations in, at least pay them more for it, you know. And my mom is mid-60s now, and she's still a teacher, and she's like, it's so much paperwork, and she like, how can a person that age keep that much stress and that much work? You know, it's insane. But it's good. I mean, yeah, you're right. You need to go in for the right reasons as well. And
yeah.
Would you? So you would want to teach drama or not? You wouldn't.
I mean,
because you're at NIDA. At the moment, you're at NIDA.
Yeah, I just do like sort of front of house stuff there. I mean, maybe eventually I would want to teach, but yeah, I haven't really thought about it too much so far. Yeah.
Is there a story that you know from your background in Serbia that is very, very popular but hasn't been told in the greater community?
Oh God. A story, like a sort of like a myth or something.
Yeah, myth or story or
oh my God.
Do you know any? Like, would you like, because like every culture has some sort of story that has been passed on or been told. Like, in India we have many different stories. Like, we have Hiranja, which is like similar story of like Romeo and Juliet sort of thing as well.
Right.
Like, and which needs to be shown as well. But like, do you know any?
Is it something that like I was just about to say, like, what kind of stories need to be told, maybe in a broader context, do you think?
What stories need to be told?
Yeah.
Well, stories that are going to make people think and affect some sort of change if in whatever areas that change is needed. I mean, like I was saying, like I'm starting to go towards trying to choose or be a part of things that are meaningful. So I think like Tom at the Farm, for example, is something that is a story that I feel like should be told. I think it's a story that present you with just like it's a bit of a what's the word? Sorry.
No, don't feel bad.
Okay.
That's fine.
That's okay. That's the word.
I'm just trying to form the thought. Sorry. It presents this particular issue in a very unique way that might make people think about the issue in a different way, like or just think about it more and have discussions about it hopefully, and
Absolutely. I mean, like that. I mean, that's kind of like why we story tell, right? Because it's so simple to just to order somebody to do something or say something. Like you could just tell people that even around the world right now that there's still places where there's capital punishment for being queer, but it doesn't hit home as much as a story would.
Yeah, exactly. Like you want to get to the people, to people's hearts. Like you want to like get them where it affects them on an emotional level. So then it makes the message much clearer.
Yeah.
And like it's a visceral sort of like experience in a way,
Because we care about people, we care about characters.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when we see them fully fleshed out on stage, we can't help but care for them, and then care for what happens to them. So that's why I think stories and theatre especially is so important. A lot of people, we always say the theatre is dying, and it's always been dying, but like
It's never gonna die.
yeah, there's something integral about it, and I think it's that storytelling aspect where we relate to characters, we relate to situations.
Yeah, and it reminds us of what it is to be human. Like
There's a like there's something about like sitting in the theater with everyone else, and I mean right now with Netflix and cinemas and whatnot, people can still go on their phones and get off the ride of watching a story. Where in the theater, engaged and everyone's there with you, and which I love about theater. Especially when you're seeing a fantastic show.
Yeah, that's true. It's one of the only moments that you're like truly like present with everyone, and you don't have the phone to distract you. Yeah.
Even though we're on the couch, you're watching Netflix, it's like
100%. You're playing like Bejeweled or something. Candy Crush or something.
So what do you have after this? Or what do you want to do after this? What would you like?
I don't have anything necessarily lined up at the moment. I'm trying to work on creating some of my own stuff. I have a friend we've been sort of writing a show on and off, and maybe just find a piece of like a text that I really love and that we can sort of do like a two-hander or something and put it on. I just want to like start going into more self-produced stuff and again like work on what I want to put out there, so
what do you want to put out there?
Well, I'm still sort of trying to figure that out. It's I know it's wanting to speak about things that I care about, to speak about my experience in a way as well, but also just tell stories that mean something to me, that's very vague, but that's
Can I just say something? Like there's something to be said about like when I first started this podcast, I thought like maybe people won't want to listen to something like this because, but then I thought this is meaningful to me because I'm certainly like new in this whole environment, and I'm sure there's people out there who are in the same sort of level as me. I don't consider myself as any like high level, but I'm sure there's people out there. But it's meaningful for me to spread the word of people like me who are working really, really hard and trying to find opportunities and trying to create things, and once you start doing those type of things, people come to your show, man, and you'll be surprised, man. You'll be surprised at how many people empathize with your life, or empathize with your feelings that you have, you know.
Yeah.
So, that's what Chookas is about. It's like coming on and tell me how you feel about yourself and your industry and your craft at the moment, and people go, oh, wait a minute, I understand that. I get it.
Yeah, that's true. Like, also, like, you're doing something that you find fulfilling, like you're following your passion. So it's also just about like feeling things out, and like when things, if you stumble upon something, you're like, okay, this feels right, and trying it out, and then hopefully it sticks, and you sort of, it snowballs from there. But I get what you're saying, like just sort of like going for the thing that you're drawn to, like that you're passionate about.
I mean, that's what's, I think, I completely agree. I think that's what's great about that approach, is because you will only attract people who are also interested in those things, which is really great. Because if you try and do the thing where it's like, oh, what does everybody else want? How do I cater to all those people? It's like, it's going to be fake to you. They're going to kind of smell that. And then even if you do become successful, it means you became successful at something you didn't like doing.
Yes.
So you're just going to have to keep on doing the thing you don't like doing for forever and ever, right?
Yeah.
So it's so great to hear that, you've got the confidence that you're starting out with stuff that you want to do, that occupies your mind. Because guaranteed, there are definitely people out there who share the same things, you know? That's what's great about the world at what 8 billion people at the moment, is that even if you have your market is just market, even if you have your audience is like 1% of that, that's still so many people, and you can create a living off that.
For
which
sure.
is great.
It would suck to be doing something that you just don't want to do. Like you should just follow the things that you feel like fiery about.
Absolutely. Do you think that what do you think about the theatre culture in Sydney at the moment? Are we making things that are firing people up, or are we kind of more trying to deliver to people what we think they want?
I think maybe the latter a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, but to be fair, like I haven't really gone and seen too much since COVID has stopped. But I don't know. It's very like it's a bit of both.
I mean, there's there's a reason you haven't been out to see those shows. Maybe because those shows don't interest you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you know, is that the benefit of having a community or a culture where we're all the shows are doing and targeting different people, or is it just like, do we actually have a problem where these shows just aren't talking to people? You know.
Yeah.
Like, who is the theatre audience, right?
Yeah.
Like, who comes to see theatre?
Yes. Well,
there's two sides. There's two things with the question. I'm thinking, like, two things. One is like, are we?
I expect you to have all the answers, by the way.
Yeah. I should have gave you homework. But yeah, like, it's two things. Like, are we just catering for the audience, or are we catering for actual our stories that we haven't tapped into? Because we constantly, like, the audience has seen this stuff. Let's keep making these type of things, and then we forget that, oh, wait a minute, if we start making things that we really believe in and what's us, we may get the other 60% of population to come and sit on our chairs and sit in the audience. You know, like, how are we forgetting them? Like, I mean, I know I'm playing two sides, but I would like to.
Yeah, I'm sort of stuck in between as well. I'm like, because I think there is an attempt to tell different stories for sure, but I think maybe I think there's just not enough support for, like, independent theatre makers just in general. I think we there needs to just be more support to produce, to draw in an audience, to produce something that is like tight, that is like, you know, like that's gonna tell the story in the best way. Because like if you're an independent theater maker, like you're making ends meet, like you have to make so many compromises, you know. And so I think maybe it comes down to it not being the greatest environment to tell these new stories. You know, it all sort of needs to shift, but I can't think of anything specific, you know, like it's just there needs to be a shift in, like, we just need to see more of the value that independent theater brings us, because I think that's where the sort of interesting stories are being told.
Yeah.
But again, like, I mean, if you also think about like bigger theater companies, everyone's sort of attempting to go down that road as well. You know, like there's a lot of stories that we haven't heard that are now being told, but it's just, it needs more, I don't know, support.
Yeah.
I guess that's the only way I can sort of.
I think it is more community support.
More community support,
community support.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a community, we all need to go, that's not us. Or, that's us.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think a lot of us are attached to something which is from a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's not us anymore.
I think a really good example is that Powerhouse Museum. You know, when it got moved, everybody was in an uproar. And then the question, of course, came around, was like, well, when did you come to the museum and support it? You know?
Yeah,
and I think it's the same thing. It's like, yes, we value independent theater, but when was the last time you came around and supported these stories?
Yeah.
You know, so that more stories like these can be told.
That's
You know?
true.
So it is a bit of a community thing that needs to happen, but also, of course, the government has been really stringent on the way they've treated the arts as well.
I think that's a big part of it. Yeah.
I will actually, and that's the other thing, like hopefully we get to a point where we can do all these things. And I'm like, I've sort of calculated in my mind that if you do these things that we're talking about at the moment, that the tickets sales will go up, but also hopefully the tickets won't be as expensive as it has been. Like I'm not sure, when I was going through theater school, like I had like we didn't have much money, like you know, and we all want to go watch theater.
Yeah.
We want to go watch other people's works and other people's stories, but we can't afford it. We kind of like $40-$50 is a lot for us.
Yeah.
My God.
It's weird, but it's a lot, you know. And might as well go watch something at the cinemas, which is $20 or $15.
Yeah.
Still, that's expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
So
so
might as well just stay at home, watch
Netflix,
Netflix.
which is $10 or $15 a month.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not
Yeah.
sharing the
If you're not
password with
sharing
someone
the
else,
password, of course, doing everything legally.
That's what you do. We need to share passwords for indie theater. That's what you need to do.
yes.
Get comp tickets.
Yeah.
Look, I just want to go put a big, quick plug out. Tom at the Farm. So it's at XTC.
KXT.
KX, sorry. 26th of August to 10th of September. And directed by Danny Ball. It's already obviously started because the 29th today. We are very happy that you all came on, and
Thank you for having me.
yeah, we'll be coming to your show.
Yeah.
And hopefully get some more interviews with some of the cast and crew.
Oh, great.
Sure,
Yeah.
that'd
They'll
great.
be much more eloquent than I am.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. So Hannah was
You were great.
Yeah, you were great. Yeah. Hannah was supposed to be here, but she had to go into work. But we'll catch you next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thanks so much. my
Thank
friend.
you so much for
Thanks,
having
man.
me.
Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
See you guys. Take care. Bye.